You press play, your heart starts pounding, your muscles are tense, you know you're about to be scared, but you hit play anyway. So why do we do it? Why do we willingly sign up for terror as a form of entertainment? Well, the answer goes way beyond a simple adrenaline rush. The shocking truth is, your brain is actually using this controlled chaos for a pretty powerful workout, one that could be making you stronger in your real life. The moment that first jump scare hits, your brain doesn't waste a nanosecond. A tiny almond-shaped area called the amygdala basically sounds the alarm. Think of it as your brain's ancient hardwired threat detector. And it really doesn't care if the threat is a saber-toothed tiger or just a well-timed monster on screen. The amygdala sends a distress signal straight to your hypothalamus, which is like the command center for your body's emergency response team. This is what triggers the flight or fight response. Your system gets flooded with stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol, your heart races, your muscles clench, and your breathing gets shallow. All of this is designed to get your body ready to either face the danger head on or run for the hills. It's an automatic, powerful reaction that kicks in before you even have a chance to think, hey, it's just a movie. Okay, so what if your body is screaming danger? How can any part of you actually enjoy the experience? This is where the more evolved, smarter parts of your brain jump in. While your amygdala is freaking out, your hippocampus and prefrontal cortex, which handle things like memory and decision-making, are calmly assessing the situation. They're quickly taking stock of your surroundings, reminding your brain, hey, you're still on the couch, you're safe, and that scary clown is trapped inside the TV. These higher level brain functions act like a safety switch, sending an all clear signal that tones down that initial panic. It's this wild tug of war. Your primal fear screaming, get out, while your rational brain says, no, we're good. That creates a unique thrill of being scared for fun. You get all the excitement of the threat without any of the actual danger. But not everyone experiences the same amount of fear. As a psychology researcher, I wanted to know why. So I ran a controlled experiment where people read short horror scenes that varied in gory and story type. People exposed to more gruesome descriptions tended to mentally detach from the scene. They described it as feeling more distant. And that detachment usually translated into less immediate fear. That may sound surprising, but it's consistent with the idea that intense sensory shock pushes viewers into a protective mindset. So the twist, empathy matters. When readers stay emotionally connected to the protagonist, when they felt concern or perspective, that empathic link was the best predictor of being scared for the character. So in our test, empathy was the active pathway. Empathy explained why some people remained afraid despite graphic content. So gore can produce protective distancing, but empathy can pull you back into that feeling. So if distancing lowers fear, how do we still end up enjoying the ride? Well, that brings us to how the body turns fear into pleasure. So this is when it gets even cooler. The fear doesn't just get canceled out, it gets transformed. That intense rush you get from adrenaline doesn't just vanish. Thanks to something called the excitation transfer theory, all that arousal and energy from the scare stick around and actually amplify the good feelings you get when you realize you're safe. When your brain confirms that there's no real threat, it rewards you with a flood of feel-good chemicals like endorphins and dopamine. This creates a seriously powerful cocktail. You got the leftover buzz from the scare, followed immediately by sweet, sweet relief. It explains why the more tension a movie builds, the more satisfying the release feels when it's all over. But the benefits might even go deeper than a temporary high. What if I told you that watching horror movies is kind of like taking your brain to the gym? By exposing yourself to fear in a totally controlled way, you're essentially giving your brain practice in handling stress. Some studies suggest that this process can help you build up your real-world resilience. It's a neurological process known as habituation. Every time you watch a scary movie, your brain gets a little bit better at managing its own fear response. Your amygdala's reaction can become less intense over time, and your prefrontal cortex gets more efficient at regulating your emotions. It's like a safe form of exposure therapy. You're learning to cope with stress, which can make you better at handling anxiety in your actual life. In fact, some fascinating research even suggests that horror fans might have shown more psychological resilience during the stress of the COVID-19 pandemic than those who did not watch horror movies. So the next time you're settling in for a scary movie night, remember, you're not just looking for a cheap thrill, you're training your brain. The paradox of why we love horror is a perfect showcase of just how complex our brains are. We can enjoy being scared because our rational mind knows we're safe, which allows that primal adrenaline rush to turn into excitement and, ultimately, pleasure and fun. And maybe the best part is that this controlled chaos isn't just for fun. It's an emotional workout. It might just build genuine resilience, helping us get better at managing fear in all parts of our lives. So go ahead, press play. You're not just watching a movie, you might be building a stronger mind. Guess I don't need to mention that it's spooky season. Okay.